Hello, this is Lee Anthony Davis here with another announcement video for my YouTube channel. A warm welcome. It's Sunday, the 15th of October, and today, coming up on this video announcement, we've got obviously Group of the Day, Contribute of the Day, not forgetting birthday announcements, some Doctor Who news, then we go up to the updates of my page group and Instagram account. Then it's my Doctor Who DVD collection selection, and then it's a Doctor Who question and the answer from yesterday's question and a new one today. And then it's your comments from either this video or the Lost in Space videos I've been posting up on my YouTube channel. And of course, what's coming up. Right, okay, let's get on with this. Oh, just to mention it, the reason why my Lost in Space video went up late is because I did it over 4 minutes. I think by the laws of YouTube, you're not allowed to do that. So I do apologise to YouTube. I didn't mean to do it too long. So what I had to do was I had to shorten it, right? So that's why it went up late. I did about a three-minute one. It was okay. So they didn't sort of come down to me on like a ton of bricks. Right, okay then. So anyway, I'll keep them short. Don't worry. I'll keep this video short if I can. Right, okay. If they want to do something, why don't they just gag this video? I don't mind that. Right, okay. You have to shorten it, Mr. Davis. Right, okay. Here we go. Group of the Day for Saturday the 14th of October goes to the Absolute Hammer Horror Group. Congratulations to them. And today, contributor of the day, I was meant to say, sorry. I always say these slip-ups, but I'm not going to bother. I think that's part of the makeup of my projection, making a right cock up of myself and a wally of myself, which is, if you can laugh at yourself, all's best, in it. Here we go. Contributor of the day for Saturday the 14th of October goes to Anton Walker. Congratulations to both of them. You'll be going up on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also my story accounts. Okay, right. Moving on to birthdays, we've got a few here. Starting off with Sarah Burnett, Michelle Lusso, Kalisha Fenner, Blake Wilson, Sue Guttridge, and Sean Hughes. Well done to them. It's their special day. Wish them well. Right, okay, now, Doctor Who news. Former Doctor Who star Arthur Darvill admitted in an interview with Radio Times that he wished he had more dialogue for his character, Rory Williams. What this is about is that in some of the adventures, as you remember, in series 5, wasn't it? It was more mainly Karen and Matt that got all the lines. When he was in the stories, he was more at the background, just nodding and stuff like that. And what he wanted was more development for his character. Well, you should have been more forceful with Moffat, shouldn't you? But anyway, he doesn't regret what happened, but he wished that the character had more, so the character had more development. That's all it was. So he did that interview with Radio Times just recently. He's a successful musician now, so you don't see much of Arthur on television or films or whatever. He's more into going to concerts and basically playing instruments. Anyway, moving on. The other Doctor Who news I wanted to tell you about, the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, is celebrating his 31st birthday. I've got a couple of groups, the Lee Anthony Davis, the Doctor Who group. I'll post it up on there for everyone to see. That is his birthday. I don't know if I should do that with Sarah Jack. No, I'll leave that one out. Excuse me. But yeah, it's his birthday today. He's 31 today. So wish him well. Obviously, you want to wish him well for his new role. And, I suppose in a way, I don't know, does he get to see them? Does he get to read them? There's so much going on. Probably. But in my opinion, like David Tennant, they have somebody on their behalf doing it. It's like Katie Manning. You don't speak to Katie Manning directly. You speak to her agent who's on Twitter or whatever. They won't, she won't sort of let anyone get to close proximity unless she obviously knows who they are. So they have a sort of barrier. I've tried to make a comment and wish her well on her birthday. I got a comment back, but it wasn't from her, it was from her agent. Anyway, never mind, but it still meant the same thing. to me. All right. So anyway, happy birthday, Katie Manny, who celebrated her birthday on Friday, wasn't it? Friday. Today it's Nashuti Gatwa's turn to have his birthday announcement. Right, so moving on from all that news, my updates, my page has gone up to, I'm just reading it here, I didn't write it down actually, but I'm going to tell you what it is now. My page, the Lee Anthony Davis, the Sarah Jane Adventures page, has now reached 25. And my Lee Anthony Davis, the Doctor Who, the Lee Anthony Davis, the Sarah Jane Adventures group has now reached 19 members, so fantastic. I couldn't believe it really. So it's going up fast, that group. The Instagram account, I won't bother, it's still the same at 111. It's gone in limbo at the moment, so I've got to do something about that. Right, moving on, Doctor Who DVD collection, here we go. This is the series 12 of Jodie Whittaker, as you can see. Big massive box set there. And I'll just talk through quickly about the adventures. Spyfall was more of a James Bond rip-off, wasn't it, really? But it was still good. It was fun. You had Lenny Henry in it. Stephen Fry was in it for a short period. I thought they were Cybermen that was sort of trying to come through to the reality, but they weren't. They were actually some sort of other alien species that looked like Cybermen, but they weren't Cybermen. The Kasabian, I don't know what they were called. Anyway, it was all good fun, but the big reveal was the Master back in it, played by Sasha Darwi or something, I can't remember. Sasha Dana. He was good. He was bloody good. When he says, "Got me." In other words, the game was up. It was time to reveal who he was on the plane. So he was good. He really did sort of get the show moving. The adventures started to pick up a bit. As soon as he was in it, you knew that there was something good. The adventure had something to it, and it wasn't just about Jodie Whittaker being the central part of the character anymore. It was also having the Master in it as well to sort of play along. Because let's be honest, the other two characters, no offence to Bradley Walsh and what's his other name, Tosmin Cole or something, who I've not heard since he left the show. Apart from he went to America and he was going to make this big American cop show or something. I don't know. Never happened because of obviously COVID. Basically, they were, to me, sort of superfluous to the plots. You know, they were just there in the background, you know, just for the ride. And it was also one too many in that, because remember, if you have too many, it means that you've got to spread it out a bit, and it means that there's not enough development for characters, as you know. So having less in it and getting rid of two of them, which was a good thing, really, because it meant that there was enough development for the other character and more for the more dialogue for Jodie Whittaker to sort of project to the audience and try and define her Doctor and all that. But it also left open a space for the Master to appear in when he popped up in many episodes. But anyway, it was good. It was all right. It was a James Bond rip-off, let's face it, but it was all right. It's fun all the way, wasn't it, really? Because people loved car chases and guns being fired. Anyway, but at the ending, it was a little bit flat, wasn't it? Just a little bit. Right, moving on to, oh dear, it's the one I dread. I don't know if I should bother. Orphan 55, more like Awful 55. Yes, I'll move on from that. And then we have the Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, obviously about Nikola Tesla, something to do with... he made contact with aliens with his new technology, that he was a sort of ahead of his time. Obviously, in real life, he was the pioneer of so much technology that's around today due to him, because it was back in the 18th century. But you would have thought he'd have been a millionaire, but he was never a millionaire. There was a lot of people that nicked his work and copied it. Tennyson was one, I think. There was a few others. Anyway, and they were rivals. And Nikola Tesla had the dream, and he didn't have the money backing like the rest of them did. So he struggled. But his legacy will live on. Their names will be mentioned, but it'll be him that will rise to the top. always. So anyway, this was a good adventure. This introduced that one that was in Sarah Jane Adventures, who played Rani. She was this some sort of scorpion queen or something. I mean, I think that was just a side issue. I just think there was far too much in it to try and squeeze into what, an hour was it? But you know, at the end of the day, I suppose kids love that sort of thing. You know, monsters and things. But for the grown-up audience, they could see through it. They knew that, you know, it was a lot of GCI involved. What was the big deal with the red eyes? Well, maybe they got took over. I don't know. But anyway, the actor that played him, I think he was, I can't remember his name. He was a very good actor, American. I think he was sort of a mixed Czechoslovakian or Eastern European. Anton, I can't remember. I'm not going to get back to you on that one. Anyway, that was a good story. I liked it. It was all right. Now, moving on to A Fugitive of the Judoon. We have the Judoon back. We have Captain Jack back. And we have a new reveal with Jo Martin. Apparently, she is the Doctor. She was the Doctor as the fugitive Doctor, you know, like a renegade. I mean, there's been so many, but you know, you got to ask Chibnall, where was he going with this? I just don't know. I mean, every time you can make a Doctor up, couldn't you? But you've got to stay in the same lines, otherwise it starts to become ludicrous a little bit, doesn't it? But I'm not saying she wasn't very good. It's just they did that with something else as well. I'm trying to think what it was, where they had. I don't know. I can't remember. It's gone from me. But at the end of the day, having a fugitive Doctor in it makes it. Yeah, that's right. They had going back to the Trial of the Time Lord. Do you remember the Valeyard? He was actually the Doctor. I mean, I didn't understand where he came from. I don't think the Doctor. I think it was trying to say he came from his psyche or something. It was just bloody too convoluted to understand what was going on and where he came from. And he was obviously a mirror image of him and all that. And he was on trial by himself. Oh, it got bloody confusing, I can assure you. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. It was all right. I suppose it fitted into the way Chibnall wanted to write the plot. And the Timeless Child and all that came along as well, didn't it? But anyway, she's all right. But it wasn't brilliant. It was just basically old fan favourites when it brought back in. Moving on to Praxis. Oh, no, I don't want to bother. And Can You Hear Me? No, I don't want to bother with that. Haunting of Villa Diodati. That was a Cyberman one. That was when he was coming for the baby or something, because the baby apparently was I don't know. Was it a younger version of him or something? I don't know. It was so bloody this is Chibnall again with his writing. It's to do with the this silvery thing that was sort of intelligent, and it would create a new cyber race or something. Invincibility, they called it. But it was all right as a story. But they mixed it in with Shelley Holmes. What's her name? I see, I'm rubbish with names, I told you. I'm not very good at the tip of the top, if you know what I mean. Shelley, what's her name? She wrote Frankenstein, obviously. I know who she bloody is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Those people included. It was a little bit unsynchronised, you know, because of the period and the Cybermen. It's not hardly likely that would really happen, would it? Anyway. Mary Shelley, that's right. Moving on, that was all right, a good story. That was sort of an arc, really, wasn't it? And then we have the ascension of the Cybermen, and then we had the Timeless Children. I'm not going to go into that because there's a lot of people really pissed with that episode, the way Chibnall did it and everything. So I'm not going to go down that route, all right? That's better. Anyway, that is that. Right, moving on, that's series 12. I'll have a look at the Flux tomorrow. Here we are. This is my William Hartnell and Dalek from the 19... Can you see that quickly? I'm just going to move on. There we are. My William Hartnell and my Dalek. This was from the 1983 version of The Five Doctors. That's what that one's based on. Anyway, moving on. I have another one to show you tomorrow. The Doctor Who question. Which black actor out of all Doctor Who, including the spoofs, played the played the role. And the first black actor to play the role, believe it or not, was Lenny Henry, who I mentioned earlier in Spyfall. He actually played it in a spoof. He was the first ethnic doctor, if I can get away with that, to play the character in a sort of sketch. French and Saunders did one as well a couple of years later, and it's been done many times, and we had a spoof with Rowan Atkinson. But yeah, he was the very first one to do it. So if you said Joe Martin, I said Joe Martin on this video yesterday to make sure that you understood that it wasn't just about which coloured actor played it, but it was a Pacific actor I wanted, a Pacific actor or Pacific direction of what I was talking about. So basically it was about the spoof, and it was obviously Lenny Henry. Right, I'm going to stop waffling on. That's just a question. The answer was Lenny Henry. Right, okay, moving on. What year did the Ice Warriors make their debut, and what was the story called? Right, that is it. Right, comments, important. This is so important. I've got to move along now because the times factor is getting against me. I want to break my last time. So here we go, comments. Here it is. Right, I'll just read this out quickly. You took your time, Lee. This is on, I presume you had problems getting this on. I know some videos I have tried to get on were blocked by the copyright. It wasn't to do with that. It was to do with the length of the time. He's talking about Lost in Space. I'm sorry about that. It was 4 minutes when it should have been less than that. So I had to shorten the video. He's talking about that. So thank you for your comment on that. I had another one here, just translate in English. This scene was one of the best in Lost in Space. This is the one to do with the one I put up that was taken off because it was too long. Thank you for that. This is certainly one of the best episodes so far. Thank you for that. And finally, I would like to make the time to say actor Mark Goddard has passed away a few days ago. He was a great actor as well as a very nice and funny man. I met him in Chicago some years ago. May he rest in peace, and may the Lord bless his family. Well, that one is from, I'm just reading it now. That one's from Eugene Mason. Thank you very much for that. It's time for me to go. Coming up, Lost in Space video, obviously, and another Doctor Who excerpt. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.